What's poppin', yo? Fetty Wap just recently got into some trouble with the conspiracy case, and we finally got the verdict on what's happening. He ended up pleading guilty to conspiracy to traffic and sell cocaine and a bunch of other drugs that they were saying that he was moving from coast to coast. And he ended up getting 1 year more than the minimum. So it said that Fetty Wap is sentenced to 6 years in prison for running drugs. And I think he's going to get time served because in August he was supposed to get bond, and then he ended up getting it revoked because, and this is what they say word for word, they said the following. The singer, whose name is Willie Jr. Maxwell II, had been in custody since his bail was revoked in August after prosecutors said he had, while on a FaceTime call, displayed a firearm and threatened to kill someone. He subsequently pleaded guilty to distribute 500 grams or more of cocaine. When they referenced this, after he had pled guilty, Fetty Wap said the following. He said he apologized and that he needed money to sustain the relatives, kids he has, as well as a bunch of other people. And he said, I only ever wanted to help my family. I never asked myself if it was all the way right. They were kind of saying he was trying to glamorize the drug trade through his music, but I don't all the way agree with this. I understand these are like prosecutorial tactics, but the period of time that they're saying that Fetty Wap was moving weight, it was about 6 months, 6+ months, 3 years ago. So it was in 2020. And of course, prosecutor said that there were like collateral consequences of drug abuse and said that a bunch of other people suffered during the pandemic, but they didn't turn to peddling poison, which I think Fetty Wap was selling some dangerous stuff as well, not just some weed. So there's all that. This is one of the better outcomes that could have happened to Fetty Wap. 6 years is long. It's probably going to be like maybe 4 in total, considering he's already done about a year. And then he can come back home. He's 31. He does have a lot of kids. He is going away for a long time. But we got to circle this conversation back to the most important part for us and what we like to cover, which is Fetty Wap's career. Fetty Wap's career was in a precarious position. It had been for many years. The thing that got me really looking sideways was he was talking about how he was financially fine on the interview that he did with academics. It was before he completely got arrested. I think it was when he had initially had bond. That's when it had happened because he got the charges and they talked about them on that podcast. He seemed to say like, yo, he's been financially good for a really long time. And he had lost a lot of money when he got on, but he made some other moves that allowed him to sustain pretty much. And the problem with that is if he had done so, then why did he have to resort to selling drugs, which is what he admits, to make money? When you've had smash hits like Fetty Wap, and this is something that I don't get with how certain musicians go broke and stay broke, it has to be bad habits or very high expenses, because all you have to do, your music, when you have hits like that, you just have to chill and not spend a lot and wait for whatever your advance to get covered, which when you have hits like Fetty Wap even said he recouped incredibly quickly. He said he took like a $50K advance. He recouped in less than a week because Trap Queen just blew up after that. And then you've got multiple hits like that, and you've got a fat catalog too that's streaming like crazy, and you've got publishing and all these other avenues where Fetty Wap's music is making a ton of money. So what is it that you're doing? He probably just relied too much on the show income, which is what a lot of rappers do. So they'll take a fat advance or they'll adjust their lifestyle to the amount that they're getting in shows. So one thing that I've kind of noticed is like, yo, I get 4 shows a week or 3 shows a week and I'm getting 50 bands a show. So I'm getting 150 a week. And then that's about like 500 a month, right? Give or take, because you're not always getting 3 a week. So now they think that's going to sustain. And then it usually does sustain. Sometimes it even goes higher. But the problem is when something like 2020 happens, it just goes to zero. And now you're left in a precarious situation. I think he also had a bad situation with child support. I think he had at least 6+ kids with maybe 5 different baby mamas. He did say he was taking care of a lot of people. And this is one thing that we have to give Fetty Wap credit for. This guy had a big heart for his city. I don't see evil from what Fetty Wap has done. Of course, like, I'm not co-signing his crime, but I'm saying before he was involved in crime, he would give features. He was handing out features to people from New Jersey for like nothing. It was absolutely insane, which waters down his brand because you've got all these people and their mother with the Fetty Wap feature. He was buying people cars nonstop that didn't need it. He didn't owe these people anything, but he just had such a big heart and such a loyalty that he felt like he had, not that he had to do this, but he felt that he should do this, and he did. And the problem is, you can help these people, but if you fall to their level, they can't help you. It's not that they don't want to, they're just not in the position to. So you got to make sure you're straight first. But circling back, I think this could be one of the biggest positives to come out for Fetty Wap's career. Now, I'm not talking about his personal life. Obviously, going to prison for 5 years is not good in any capacity. But getting 1 year more than the minimum is a W in this predicament that he's put himself in. The reason why is because storylines, music is kind of like WWE. It's kind of like movies. There needs to be a storyline. Fetty Wap had dropped an album. I think he had worked on it with Internet Money. I'm not entirely sure who it was. But he dropped an album that was like this butterfly album. It was before he even got this arrest. And a lot of people were talking about, not a lot, but it was a niche group of people that were talking about, this Fetty Wap album's good. This album's solid. I don't know why it's not doing well. Part of the reason for that is the storyline. So Fetty Wap did fall off, and I don't think he recognized that he should have just chilled out, probably on his expenses, because Fetty Wap dropped enough hits in just a year and a half to sustain himself for life if he's not living a Travis Scott lifestyle or any other rapper like Future. If you're not living a lifestyle where you're buying a $65 million penthouse or home, or not, was it $65 million? I don't know. If you're not buying cribs in the Porsche Tower, Miami Porsche Tower, then you'll be straight. If you're like Fetty Wap, you'll be more than straight. You'll be eating. But he didn't tend to do that. So with his career, now we have a storyline where Fetty Wap falls. Because before that, I was like, what happened to him? Where'd he go? He disappeared. Similar to Meek Mill, with Meek Mill, there was legitimate injustice that we came to see afterward. So people wanted to champion Meek Mill. But Meek Mill was at a lower position career-wise than Fetty Wap was. Fetty Wap had just fallen off. Meek Mill was cooked. He was the gum on the bottom of everyone's shoe in hip-hop fandom. People saw him as a joke. He was the punchline of corporate memes. It doesn't get worse than that. He was cooked. It was so bad. And that storyline helped him get back on top. Granted, it was also a collaboration with Drake afterwards that amplified it even more, but his album did well. So we have to give credit to Meek Mill in that aspect. Prison, for Fetty Wap, getting out, him trying to change his life, him doing a good press run, getting with the proper team after he's locked up. Hopefully he can write a lot of music. If he can come out, he has a perfect storyline. Everyone loves the redemption story. Nobody hates Fetty Wap. There have been times when Fetty Wap started going viral on Twitter just because people were like, remember the run Fetty Wap had? That was amazing. There's so much nostalgia associated with it. Trap Queen is it transcends really generations. So there's two generations, I guess you could say, like Zoomers, maybe even millennials, that both mess with Trap Queen. Some were very young, some were maybe adolescent or in their early 20s. Everyone loves the song. There's an affinity for Fetty Wap. There's a want for him to win. It just needs to be combined with the proper storyline, with the right music, and with the right timing. And that can all happen when Fetty Wap gets released from prison. What's his name? Bobby Shmurda had the exact same opportunity, but he fumbled it like none I've ever seen before. Partially because Bobby Shmurda just sucked at making music, and he still sucks at making music. And he's doing fine. I'm pretty sure he's financially okay. But Fetty Wap, he had even said that he had to learn to make music again because he kind of just didn't have that much songs when he first blew up. But as we saw with the last album that he dropped, which was pretty solid, he can make music. So that's really all he needs. And then in 4 years, I believe people will care because of the impact that he had. If he had a TikTok hit or something like that, yeah, of course, nobody would care. Nobody would even notice that he probably got locked up. But this is Fetty Wap, not some TikTok hit. This guy had 3 top 10s within like a 6-month span. It's mind-blowing. And I think even Drake, it depends, but I think even in a situation, someone like Drake would see Fetty Wap come out and be willing to mend the relationship that they had, possibly, or other big rappers would be willing to mend that relationship because it's an opportunity for them too. Because whenever some guy gets out of prison, it's a big opportunity for bigger artists too to align themselves with him. Kind of like you saw it with Drake when Gucci got out of prison. He did a song with him. We never saw Drake on another Gucci Mane song after that. Not saying he needs to be, but that was an opportunity for him. We saw certain rappers attach themselves to Boosie when he got out, and we saw Drake, of course, hop on with Meek Mill, who he had a legitimate beef with, and mend their relationship, which is, I believe, in a worse position than Fetty Wap's. Fetty Wap kind of just wanted to help his homie out, and he messed up a Drake song. But I think within 4 years, we'll see. I hope Fetty Wap is able to serve his time safely, come out, get back to his family, and get back to music, really. And that's a lot of time to sit there and think in a cage. So yeah, I hope the best for him. I want Fetty Wap to win. I think this storyline is great. This is the positive that can come from it for his career. But let me know what y'all think in the comments. Can this help Fetty Wap, or are people going to forget about him even more now? Like and subscribe and hit the notification bell if you enjoyed. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram. Thank you for watching. Peace.